Okay guys, lesson 8.9 looks difficult, but it's really not. And it's part review and it's part multiplying fractions, which is sort of new, but you'll get most of it. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. I'll do the step in with you. I'll do this problem with you, as well as this problem. Okay, so we'll start here. Potato salad is sold in 3-pound tubs. Allison uses 1 1/4 of a tub. How many, 1 1/4 tubs. How many pounds of potato salad did she use in total? So here the little chicken guy says 1 tub is 3 pounds, so I know at least 3 pounds are used. Okay, Sophia converts each number to an improper fraction to solve this. So she thinks of 1 1/4 of 3 as 5/4. Now you have to stop and ask yourself, okay, how did she get that 5/4? Well, she took this 1 1/4 and turned it into an improper fraction. So 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 5/4. So now she knows she's trying to solve for 5/4 of 3. So in order to do that, she makes the 3 a fraction by putting it over 1 and multiplies straight across. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, that's how she got her answer of 15/4. And then she went back and converted that into a mixed number and got 3 3/4. Okay, now we've got a second student over here who breaks the numbers into parts to multiply. Now, this student did it with the area model, so he used this picture right here too. But I'm going to show you how he did that without the picture. So he knew he was trying to find 1 1/4 of 3. So he knew that was the exact same thing of taking 1 plus 1/4 times 3. Okay, so he has that 1 plus 1/4 times 3 is the same as 1 times 3 plus 1 1/4 times 3. Okay, so he went through and solved all that and he got 3 3/4. For me, it's a little bit easier to think of it like this picture model here. Okay, so he knew his main problem that he's trying to solve is it's 1 1/4 of 3, which we know is a multiplication problem. So that's the main problem he's trying to solve. Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to multiply those using the area model. So you've got your square. Okay, it's a little bit different than the one we did 2 days ago. And he looks at his whole numbers. He says, okay, I've got 3 and I've got 1. I didn't draw this very accurately. I'm going to kind of edit this a little bit. Okay, I've got 3 and then I've got 1, but I also have 1/4. Okay, so I have to represent that 1/4. Okay, now we've done this. It's just been a while since we have. But in this box, I'm going to write 3 times 1 equals 3. And then here, I'm going to drag the 3 over. So this is 3 and then times 1/4. So I'm going to have to solve that to figure out what the answer is. So 3 times 1/4. Well, I need to put that over 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. So I've got 3/4. I know that's kind of hard to see. I regret doing that so small. But now I can just add my two answers together. 3 3/4 is my answer to the problem. 3 3/4. Okay? So for me personally, it's easier to do that picture model versus doing all of this math. If you're having a hard time with that picture model, let me give you another example that doesn't include a fraction. For instance, if you have 6 times 4, or let's do, I'm going to do that a little harder. Let's do 6 times 15. Okay, it's been a while since we've done this, but let's say you have your 6 and your 15. Well, I'm going to break that 15 up into easier parts that I know how to multiply by. I'm going to do 10 and 5. So in this box, I need to write 6 times 10, which would be 60, In this box, I'm going to write 6 times 5, which would be 30. To get my answer to the problem, I add the two together, 60 plus 30, which I know is 90. Okay? So maybe that will come back to you. If it doesn't and you're still having a really hard time, see if my explanation for this problem will help. If not, feel free to reach out and we can Zoom. Okay, let's try it with this one. 3 times 4 1/4. 3 times 4 1/4. Okay, so they've kind of already drawn part of it for you. So it looks like they have 3 like this, and then they have the 4 and 1/4. Okay, so what they did was they drug the 3 over here, so 3 times 4 is 12, and then they drug the 3 over here, and then drug the 1/4 up, 3 times 1/4. Now that I'm going to go ahead and work out on the side. Oops, I keep going backwards. So 3 over 1 times 1/4. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. 3/4. So I know my answer to this problem is 12 plus 3/4. So 12 3/4. Okay? So go ahead and give part B a try, and then we'll try this one together. Okay. For each of these, calculate the product in 2 ways. Okay, so they want us to do multiply the parts, and then the second way is convert to an improper fraction first. Okay, so the first one, it looks like we're multiplying 5 times 2 1/3. So 5 times 2 1/3. So what they did was they broke up this fraction part right here. So they took this fraction and they broke it apart, okay? And they broke this part up into 2 and this one up into 1/3. Okay, so they're saying 5 times 2 plus 5 times 1/3 will get me the answer, which is true. So now I have to figure out what they want here. What is the answer to 5 times 2? Well, I know that's 10. Now I have to figure out the answer to what is 5 times 1/3? Well, let's solve for that. I'm going to put it over 1 and multiply straight across. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 3 is 3. 5/3. All right. Now, all I have to do is add these two up. 10 plus 5/3. So I know my answer is going to be 10 and 5. Sorry, that is terrible. Over 3. Okay? Now, if you want to leave it like that, I believe you can. I think the answer key has it in that answer format. If it doesn't, just go ahead and convert it. You guys know how to do that. Okay? Now they're going to give us, I just learned that I can change my pen color, so now I'm obsessed with choosing my color. Okay, so now what they want you to do is convert to an improper fraction first. So let me erase, because now I can't see what I had over there. Okay. So they have 5 times 2 1/3 still. But what they did was they took this fraction and they converted it to an improper fraction. So they did 3 times 2. They got 6 plus 1 is 7. So 7 over my denominator of 3. And then they multiplied straight. Oh my gosh, what was that? Sorry. And then they multiplied straight across. 5 times 7 is, oh gosh, 35. Okay. And then 1 times 3 is 3. So I just double checked the answer key to make sure it was okay to leave a fraction like that, and it is not. So I'm going to show you how to do that instead. So Here I notice that I have an improper fraction, so I'm going to go ahead and convert that. So 3 goes into 5 one time with 2 out of 3 left over. Okay, so now I can just add, I'll get rid of that. Now I can just add 10 plus 1 2/3. Well, I know 10 plus 1 is 11, and then I'll still have the 2/3. So 11 and 2/3 is your answer. So now before I finish this problem, or I guess let's go ahead and finish this problem too. How many times does 3 go into 30? Well, it goes in 10 times, we know that, but now we're trying to get to 35. So I know it can go in one more time, and that will get me 33. So if I have 35 minus 33, how many are left over? Well, 2 out of 3. Wow, that's really poorly written, but that reads 11 2/3, okay? Which is the exact same answer we got over here. So there's two ways you can do this. You can either solve it breaking the fraction apart, or you can just convert it to an improper fraction, and it's a lot fewer steps. So in the future, I would recommend this route, but if you know what you're doing over here and this is easy for you and it makes sense, you can do that too. Right, go ahead and finish part B over here and B and C, and if you really want a challenge, try these down here. Good luck.